Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Aggieville Alleycats podcast, where come rain, shine, or anything in between, we're here to deliver to you the Kansas State sporting news that you so love. I'm Ace Edwards, right alongside.
Connor Baltazar.
And welcome to the weekly recap, where we take a look at every single sport that is not just football and give you the results and stories. Yeah, that's pretty much just what we do. But the on top is, before we get started, we always cover recruiting news. There's no specific recruiting news. It's just generally, signing day happened for every single sport that is not football. So men's basketball signed Day Ames, Michaela Rich, RJ Jones signs tomorrow. The women's team got Taryn Sides, as well as I believe two other commits to sign. The baseball team had a whole host of people sign, like Micah Dean, for example, Blake Dean, not related to each other, by the way.
Yeah, that's just a coincidence.
It's just a coincidence. I think that every sport, soccer had a few commits sign, but yeah, it's signing day season, and we could be here for about an hour and a half if we went over every signing. The good news is that we have quite literally at one point or another covered a commit or all of these commits from different sports, except for maybe soccer. Because if we think that tracking women's basketball recruiting rankings is difficult, I'm not sure it's possible for soccer.
Yeah. Yeah. That I don't even want to think about doing that, man. I would do it, but I don't think that's really feasible.
Yeah, it's not a matter of like us not wanting to. It's a matter of it not necessarily being possible.
Yeah, that'd just be so difficult to track. I don't even know where you'd get film to like evaluate a recruit. Like, does Huddle do like high school girls soccer? I don't even know. I
Yeah.
guess maybe we should check, but
Yeah.
even still, it'd be so hard to like track who actually commits, because those type of like recruiting announcements don't really get the same traction that those for most other sports do.
No. No, they
Then
don't.
they commit so far out that like it's kind of hard to like go back and find like who actually is committed and like from when.
Yeah.
So logistically possible, but would really rather not. So
Yeah, that's just the general signing day of it. We've extended this far past what we thought we would.
yeah.
But now we can start talking about the first non-rev, and it is women's volleyball. And it is, just when we said this, it's every single time we say, oh, maybe this sport isn't doing so well this year. Every single time it's happened, they just pull one out. And you didn't know, the women's volleyball team beat number 25 in the country, Iowa State, in Ames by 3-1. Iowa State took the first set 25-17. Then the rest was all K-State, 25-13, 25-22, and then 28-26. Again, this was in Ames, and good job, but at the same time, how and why?
Yeah. I'm glad that you brought up that this always seems to happen whenever we are like doom and gloom on a particular squad. Like with soccer, we were like, wow, this team's made no progress at all. And then they go out and get the games they need to make it to the Big 12 tournament. And then volleyball does that. We were talking about how frustrated and disappointed we were with the volleyball team on their 3-game losing streak and getting shut out by KU. And then they go out and win on the road at ranked Iowa State, a team that beat Texas. And that gives us the season sweep on Iowa State as well. So that's really big. But getting into the stats, some interesting stuff to cover. For one, Aaliyah Carter only plays in one set and doesn't really play particularly well either. 1 ace, 1 kill on 7 attempts, 2 errors. So not phenomenal there. Shaylee Myers played okay, 39 attack attempts, 11 kills, 5 errors. hitting 154, did have a service error, and then also had 10 digs. Um, Other than that, Mackenzie Morris had 17 digs, 4 sets to go with it. But we actually had some players perform fairly well offensively. Elena Baca, she had, I believe it's a double-double, which I did not realize existed in volleyball, but I heard somebody use that terminology. She won 46 attack attempts, 13 kills, 6 errors, and then also had 13 digs. So that 13 kill, 13 dig, I think, is where the double-double comes from. Uh, and then Katie Fernholz had an excellent day hitting 24 attack attempts, 11 kills, 1 error, and then a dig as well. Sydney Bolding also had an outstanding day blocking with or hitting, 29 attack attempts, 14 kills, 2 errors to go with 5 block assists. I think that's what BA is. I think it's like block assist or block attempts, and 3 digs. Then also the service ace to go with 1 service error. Lauren Hinkle had 46 sets, and then 2 aces as well. She recently hit 100 career service aces, but yeah, a few people stand out. Obviously, Fernholz and Sydney Bolding have excellent days. Shaylee Myers does all right. Baca does good and is versatile. And then Mackenzie Morris is steady as always. But yeah, K-State put together a really good showing. Iowa State, you go down their list. They did have one person play pretty well. Eleanor Holthus, 36 attack attempts, 15 kills, 3 errors. But other than that, they weren't hitting outstanding at all. In fact, they hit 127 as a team compared to 207 from K-State. So K-State far out hitting in that department. And K-State, it looks like, at least based on the stat sheet, genuinely did outplay Iowa State, which is a welcome change because it feels like K-State has been kind of getting run out of the gym in a few of these recent matches, but they put together a really nice performance against a very good Iowa State team. And that's a good resume builder because if they are wanting to get to postseason play, the window or the door is about shut, but there is still a path there. They basically have to win out. They could maybe afford a loss at Baylor, but they really couldn't do much more than that, I think. The margin for error is very slim at this point.
Yeah, it is. And one game is currently ongoing as we record this episode, and that's against West Virginia. I hope they win. West Virginia is 0-11 in conference, and I'd really rather not be their first conference win.
That would be embarrassing, especially considering that we swept them earlier in the year on the road. There's no reason that K-State should not beat West Virginia tonight. Knock on wood. We'll see if we were right by the time this episode releases. So
yeah, and we'll give an update at the end to see what we got here. But yeah, after the women's empowerment game against West Virginia tonight, you have the Oklahoma game next Wednesday. That'll be the next thing we cover is those 2 matchups. But moving on to women's basketball, or why did I say it like that? The emphasis should be on women's. It's like, no, wait, basketball. It should be on basketball because we were just talking about a women's sport.
It's okay. Ace, when I tell you I didn't even notice, I didn't even notice.
Yeah, it was the first official game of the season for the Mini Cats. That is up against the Central Arkansas Sugar Bears, which, fun fact, if you look up a sugar bear, the only thing that you will find is Central Arkansas and then the gummy vitamins.
Fascinating.
Yeah. Yeah, K-State ended up winning this 83-43, 26 points in the first, 15 the second, which was tied for Central Arkansas. Both had 15 the second quarter. A utterly dominant third quarter, 25-9, and then 17-8 in the fourth. Had a couple of notable performances. The starting 5 was Gabby Gregory, the Glenn twins, Jalen and Briley, Serena Sundell, and Taylor Lauterbach, which I think Connor and I were both somewhat surprised by Taylor Lauterbach getting the start. But, it worked out for him. Gabby, I'll cover the starters because the bench players did quite a bit. Gabby Gregory played 26 minutes, was 7 from 11 from the field, 2 of 4 from 3, 3 of 4 on her free throws, had 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 turnovers, 1 block, and 19 points. Jalen Glenn played 31 minutes, 6 of 11 from the field, 1 of 2 from 3, missed her 1 free throw, 2 rebounds, 1 personal foul, foul, goodness gracious. 1 assist, 3 turnovers, 4 steals, by the way, 13 points. Her sister Briley was played 22 minutes, 3 of 7 from the field, 0 of 2 from 3, 6 of 7 on her free throws, 4 rebounds, 3 fouls, 2 assists, 1 turnover, 1 steal, and 12 points. Serena Sundell, that was very loud. 20 Serena, I don't know what that was. I just heard some shrill noise like outside. Serena Sundell played 25 minutes, 3 of 7, 1 of 4 from 3, 4 rebounds, 2 fouls, 5 assists, 2 turnovers, 2 blocks, 7 points. And then finally, the last of the starters, Taylor Lauterbach, 2 of 3 from the field, 2 of 2 on her free throw attempts, 5 boards, 2 fouls, 1 assist, 1 turnover, 1 block, and 6 total points.
Yeah. Among the starters, Serena Sundell has a really interesting stat line. She really stuffed the stat sheet. Didn't score as much as I was hoping, but makes up for it with the 5 assists, just 2 turnovers, the 2 blocks. But yeah, a solid showing from Sundell. Glenn twins both played pretty well. Jalen Glenn especially, I thought, played really well. And then Gabby Gregory, I think, is really going to be the offensive motor of this team, if that wasn't obvious based off the stat line. But she definitely plays the most confidently and the most aggressively when she's on the floor. And they're very clearly trying to get her the ball as much as possible. She played a very clean game as well. No fouls in 26 minutes. That's pretty impressive. And it's clear that her job is to get the ball as much as possible. And she not only was aggressive on the offensive side for scoring, but also she had 4 offensive rebounds. So really, really nice day for Gabby Gregory and the rest of the squad. I was a little surprised to see Lauterbach start, although I guess he wants to kind of go with a more traditional starting lineup and then just kind of go from there. At least that seems like what it's going to be, because the next 5 in the rotation all played in between 10 and 17 minutes. Lauterbach only played 15. But Sarah Shamatzi, LSU transfer, went 3 of 7 from the field, 1 of 2 from 3, 3 rebounds, 2 fouls, total of 7 points. Nice day for Sarah Shamatzi, showing off the range. Had 2 offensive rebounds as well. A lot of offensive rebounds as a whole for this team, 15 of them. Emily Ebert played 17 minutes, 2 of 4 from the field, 1 of 3 from 3, made her 1 free throw attempt, had 5 rebounds, 6 assists, 0 turnovers, a steal, and 6 points. That's 6-0 assist to turnover ratio. Love to see that. Eliza Maupin played 15 minutes. The incredibly athletic true freshman. She has a chance to really be a special player in Manhattan, but still young. 2 of 3 from the field, 4 points. 5 rebounds, 2 fouls, an assist, and then 4 turnovers to go with a steal in 15 minutes. So a little bit careless with the ball, but you take your lumps with somebody like Eliza Maupin, I think.
Yeah.
She's so athletic and so naturally gifted. I think you live with the 4 turnovers, especially when you win by 40 points. So
Yeah, and she's so young to where.
yeah, that's going to matter a lot more in conference play, but that's why you want her to do that now as opposed to later. Heavenly Greer finally registers some like playing time. So happy that she finally actually gets on the floor. Made her 1 field goal attempt and then went 1 of 4 from the free throw line. Had 4 rebounds, 4 fouls, an assist, a turnover, and then a steal. Ended with 3 points in 13 minutes. And just her first actual meaningful action in 2 years at this point. So knocking off the rust, I'd imagine a little bit. We'll see how she develops as the year goes on. Then Jamia Harris 10 minutes, 1 of 4 from the field, 1 of 3 from three, a rebound, a foul, 2 assists, no turnovers, and 3 points. So nice game for her. Rebecca Dollinger played 9 minutes, missed both her field goal attempts, 0 of 1 from three rebounds, and then 2 turnovers. So nothing super productive from Dollinger. And then Michaela Parks, true freshman, played 4 minutes, 1 of 2 from the field, made a three, and had a rebound, an assist, and ended with 3 points, had no turnovers. So encouraging play from the true freshmen that we saw, Eliza Maupin, Jamia Harris, and Michaela Parks. And then, of course, Noah Yokeli this year, and Noah Gisela Sanchez of Spain. So that's
I
that
honestly
is
forgot she was on the team, bro.
yeah. I remember them mentioning her on the broadcast. But yeah, the Cats end up winning very handedly in this game, 83-43. They completely outplayed Central Arkansas. To put that in context, at one point they had a player airball 2 free throws in a row. Uh, I
That was
felt
so tough.
I felt the secondhand embarrassment from that. I truly did feel bad for them, and that because that's just so tough.
But the
Like
students caught on to it as well.
the
That's
first
so
one, the first one, you're like making fun of them, like, ah, that's funny. But then 2 in a row, you're like, man, I am so sorry.
no, I
ha-
like it.
like happy it happened because I don't want you to score points, but also that's super tough.
Like you could have just missed normally.
Yeah, like because like one of them was a total air ball. The other one was even weirder because she missed to the opposite side. Because the first time it was complete air ball to the left. The second time it was just cleanly off the backboard, and that's it to the right. That's a really interesting way to miss a free throw because rarely is an air ball gonna like hit the backboard and just not hit the rim. But yeah, just really, really weird turn of events there. Cats end up shooting a perfect 50% from the field, 36% from three, 68.4% from the free throw line. I'm not overly concerned about the free throw shooting because everybody not named Heavenly Greer shot really well from the
Yeah,
free throw line. Not a call out, Heavenly Greer. I get it. You've not played for a while. It's fine. I'll
yeah.
let it go. But yeah, 13 and 19 from the line. Turnovers, 17 as a team to 23 assists. You'd like to see that turnover number get significantly lower. If possible, keep it close to 10. It's going to be hard to do that, especially as we're figuring out what to do with this offense. So, but it's a solid start to the year
Sure.
for the women's basketball team.
Yep. Their next three matchups are up against Wisconsin in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And that'll actually be televised on the Big Ten Network at 3:30 tomorrow. So,
Mm-hmm.
yep.
Worth noting that is being played at the Milwaukee
Brewers
Brewers
Stadium.
stadium, which is so strange, but I'm very interested.
I am as well. I'm interested to see how it is. Then next Thursday we play Iowa. Number 4, Iowa.
I felt a lot better about that game when Ayoka Lee was still healthy, but
Yeah.
now I'm not feeling so hot about it. Really not looking forward to it. I think at one point that was a match that was supposed to be on ESPNU, but with Ayoka Lee getting injured, that got flexed to ESPN Plus because it's just not the spectacle that it was going to be. Like you just can't really market it the same way. I get it. I'm not. I hold no ill will to ESPN for that, but it is what it is.
Yeah. And then next up is UTRGV that Friday after. Then after that, we play formerly Dixie State, now Utah Tech. So,
Oh, is that who Dixie State was?
yeah,
Why is Dixie State in Utah?
that's an excellent question.
I
I
I
don't know.
I've seen their name before, and I always assumed they were in like Mississippi or something.
Yeah, I
Like
always assumed they were in the South, but now they're in Utah.
that is so strange. Huh. Yeah, that's the extent of my opinions about that, I guess. I can't really stretch that any further.
Yeah, my opinion is, huh. Anyway,
If they'd asked me, I would have done it differently, but they didn't ask me.
yeah.
No
Next
one ever
up,
does.
I'm sorry, Connor. Connor, what do you think the K-State mascot should be?
Uh, I'm fine with Wildcats. It was cool that we were once the Aggies. I'm just happy we're not the Farmers.
I think, and this is going to be a revolutionary concept. I think our mascot should be called Willie, like Willie the Wildcat. His middle name specifically is the.
I think that's really dumb.
What
They
about
should
Wilhelmina? Wilma.
Wilma. Yeah, we could do Willie and Wilma, which is what Burlington High School does for their mascot.
It's also what is it Arizona or Northwestern does?
I think it's Arizona.
Yeah, because we dug into the lore of
We
Arizona.
did. We were reading about that. I don't remember why. I think it might have been realignment time, like maybe in the summer or something, like in the dog days of summer when like nothing's happening. But we've completely lucked out with like two major realignment summers, like back to back. Next summer is gonna be rough because that's not happening again.
Unless,
I say that like next summer, all of a sudden it's just gonna be just nuts. But
yeah. Next up is men's basketball after that little detour. Next up is men's basketball. They ended up playing UTRGV, University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley. They ended up beating them 90. K State ended up beating them, the Vaqueros, 93-59. Again, I'll go over the starters. The starting five were Marquise Noel, Naquan Tomlin, Keontae Johnson, Cam Carter, and David Gasson. Starting off with Marquise Noel. He had 25 minutes, 3 of 5 from the field, 3 of 3 from 3, including a near logo 3, because that's just what Marquise does. 5 of 7 from the free throw line, 7 assists, 1 turnover, 4 steals, 14 points. Naquan Tomlin proved once again he's an athletic monster who should not exist. At 19 minutes, 6 of 12 from the field, 0 of 3 from 3. 2 of 3 on his free throws, 8 boards, 4 fouls, 1 turnover, 1 block, 14 points. Keontae Johnson had 26 minutes, 4 of 8 from the field, 3 of 5 from 3. 2 of 2 on his free throws, 2 boards, 2 fouls, 4 assists, 4 turnovers, 13 points. You'd like to clean up the turnovers, but hey, it's still early. Cam Carter had 25 minutes, 2 of 6 from the field, 1 of 5 from 3, 1 of 2 on his free throws, 3 boards, 3 fouls, 3 assists, 2 turnovers, 1 block, 2 steals, 6 points. And then David Gasson, 19 minutes, 1 of 6 from the field, 1 of 3 from 3, 2 of 2 on his free throws, 6 boards, 3 fouls, 2 assists, 1 turnover, 1 steal, and 5 points. So, pretty solid contribution from all of the starters.
yeah, a lot to like there. Marquise Noel with the great assist to turnover ratio as well as the 4 steals. I mean, that's exactly what you want to see from him down the stretch, I think. Just keep turnovers to a minimum and just absolutely harass whoever the other team's point guard is.
He's literally
Like at
just a
all costs.
goblin, bro. He's literally just a ball goblin.
That is exactly what he should be. And yeah, the Naquan Tomlin, yeah, he's an anomaly, freak of nature. There's no reason a 6'10" human being should be able to move the way that he does and be as good a ball handler as he is. He went 0-3 from 3, but the fact that he's attempting them and they're looking completely natural and smooth is very impressive.
Yeah.
He had some great dunks. He had specifically a really, really nice dunk from a behind the back pass from Marquise Noel. That was the moment I knew we were just going to absolutely smoke him.
Yeah.
And like you knew before that, but at that moment I could tell the players they could feel it too. Um, yeah, and Tomlin, he flirted with a double-double with his 8 rebounds. A lot of offensive rebounding as well in those starters. Gasson had 2, Cam Carter had 2, 1 for Keontae Johnson, and 3 for Naquan Tomlin. A lot to like with that starting lineup. Gasson starting, it was very unexpected to me.
Yeah.
I thought it would be like maybe Tyke Green or Desi Sills, but I like Gasson, honestly. I mean, because the way it was listed, it made him look like he was the 2. And I don't think that's what is actually happening, but he
Yeah.
could truly guard about any position on the floor. He's really, really good, and he's going to do really good things for us. Cam Carter was a little slow to start, but I expect him to become a really good scorer down the stretch. Keontae looked like he hadn't missed a step in his return to action. Like honestly, it looked like he kind of took his foot off the gas, if anything. Uh, he was playing really well. But yeah, the starters a lot to like. But we can move on to the bench players, starting with Abayemi Agiola, aka Bebe. He played 17 minutes, went 5 of 5 from the field, 2 of 3 from the free throw line, had 5 rebounds, 2 offensive, 3 defensive. He recorded 3 fouls, had 2 turnovers, and then he had a steal as well. Finished with 12 points. He made a much larger impact than I anticipated.
Yeah.
I was not expecting a lot from Igiola. It's clear, it's obvious that Naquan Tom was the better athlete and probably fits the scheme a little better. But by Mugiola, he was doing really well. He had a few dunks as I recall. I mean, I've forgotten some of the dunks at this point because there were so many.
Yeah, it
And
used to be last year if we saw a dunk, we'd remember it for like the next 3 weeks because it just didn't happen. Now it's like, no, we're yamming it about 3 times a
yeah,
game.
it was really, really fun to watch. Desi Sills is the next guy. Someone I expected to play a little bit more than 18 minutes, but I think some of that is just we got a lot of guys on the floor. And when you're struggling to find minutes for good players, that's generally a good thing. So Desi Sills, he goes 3 of 6 from the field, 0 of 1 from three, 4 of 4 at the free throw line, had 5 rebounds, all defensive, 2 fouls, 3 assists, 3 turnovers, and then 10 points. I really liked what we saw from Desi Sills. He caught a lob at one point. He had I forget who it was to, but it was an absolutely phenomenal pass, I recall, because it like spun and like had enough like front spin to like go down, as I recall. That might have been the exhibition. I might be getting my games mixed up because it's been a while since this game happened to this point. But he looked really impressive. He's basically Marquise Noel if Marquise was taller, I think. And he does a lot of the same things. He does them really well. The only difference is Desi is just obviously way further behind
And also
in
doesn't
terms.
take logo threes.
Yeah, that is true. He doesn't take logo threes, but I really like Desi. He's very athletic, and somebody I'm going to really enjoy watching this year. Which makes me happy to say that because there was obviously a point in time where we weren't sure he was going to ever make it.
Hmm.
Ish Masood, next off the bench, played 13 minutes, 3 of 6 from the field, 2 of 3 from three, 2 of 2 from the free throw stripe, had 3 rebounds, 2 offensive, 1 defensive, 2 fouls, and then added 10 points. It's clear that Ish's role on this team is to come in and make threes and grab an easy rebound. And you know what? That's really good because if Ish Masood is like probably the 9th best player on the team, you have a good team. Last year, Ish Masood was probably like the 4th or 5th best player on the team. And then that was reason for concern. And I like Ish Masood a lot, but his role on this team is to be a spot up shooter that's going to drain the open three. And he looked very comfortable shooting the ball, much more comfortable than he did last year. And last year we really liked his stroke. This year, like you and I, like we're not like basketball savants or anything, but we could tell he had a very comfortable looking stroke. This year looks even better. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how he's used the rest of the year. I imagine it's going to be a lot of running the perimeter, which granted, this team at times was playing 5-out basketball. We were just throwing the ball around and then just cutting, which when you have a team where all 5 guys can play out comfortably, you've got a pretty interesting team, if nothing else. Tyke Green played 23 minutes, 3 of 8 from the field, 2 of 4 from three, 1 of 4 at the free throw line. Had 2 rebounds, 1 foul, 3 assists, 1 steal, 9 points, and a thundering dunk that it was absolutely excellent. Driving in, something that I don't think anybody could have done last year. I saw the strength coach, Phil Bayer. He said Tyke Green has, I think, a wingspan, a 6'11" wingspan is what he said,
That
and
sounds
really
right.
big hands. And that makes sense because Tyke Green's like 6'4", and I'm like, how do you do that? Make it look so easy? It's because his arms are really long, and
Yeah.
that made it make way more sense. Tyke Green, he looked super athletic. He took more shots than I expected, but granted, everybody was taking a lot of shots, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how Tyke Green fits into the picture this year because he's another guy that I think is going to be really, really good. That leaves two more players, Dorian Finistert and Nate Aubrey.
The birthday
Uh,
boy, Dorian
yeah,
Finister.
Dorian Finister's birthday. The student section chanted happy birthday to him. You could hear it on the broadcast.
Hmm.
Um, Neither of them scored. Dorian 0 for 3, Nate 0 for 1. Dorian had 3 rebounds and 2 assists. Nate Aubrey had an assist and missed 1 shot. Um, and then I think Peyton Ackerman, the other walk on, got in at the very end but didn't record any statistics. And then Nate Aubrey, he got 2 minutes. Dorian Finister played 13, which was a little surprising. He played more than I expected.
Yeah.
And then we did learn that Anthony Thomas, Jarrell Colbert, and Taj Manning are all going to redshirt this year, which I kind of understand for Jarrell Colbert and Taj Manning because we do have a lot of depth for our post players and just our taller players in general. So it's going to be tough for them to get minutes this year, but there should be time available next year. But what are your thoughts on some of the bench guys, Ace?
I like them. I
That's
I
good.
I I really I think honestly, if you would have, I think Desi probably overtakes Marquise as one of the starters, probably within a couple of weeks. Either that or they have them both on the floor at the same time. I don't, maybe, but Bebe as big off the bench, he's good. Ish just being basically a 3-point sharpshooter and occasionally getting easy boards. That's good. Tyke Green, like yamming it.
Yeah.
I I feel good about all of the bench players, which last year, honestly, if you I'm looking at the bench and if you discount Ish Masood, I'm seeing like 3 names on that list that would have been starters on last year's team. That we've improved so much.
Yeah. Yeah. This team is so much better than the team we had last year. Really, the only major issues that we had from the exhibition were free throws and turnovers. Um, as I recall, I think there might have been one other thing that we struggled with, but free throws way better in this game. 90% in the first half. Didn't do as well in the second half, but it is what it is. 72% on the game, 21 and 29. Shooting 45% from the field and 44% from three, 12 to 27 from three. A lot of makes. And then cut down turnovers a little bit from last game, had 14. Still like to get that a little lower. Then we had 25 assists, which is phenomenal. 25 assists on 30 made field goals. That is very impressive. I did not expect that. I had high hopes, but I did not expect that. And this team as a whole, they're just incredibly athletic. They're intense. And they played really hard for most of the game. Jerome Tang did say he had a very specific number. He said that he thought that they only played at a high enough level of intensity for 17 minutes.
It was like 16 or 17 minutes is what he said.
I know. And I'm like, I'd love to know the calculation that they used to get to that. I'm not doubting him. I'm just curious.
Do you have a
It's like,
stopwatch on the
yeah,
side if like they
because
weren't
that's
playing
like a
hard enough
very
to cause this?
specific. It's a very specific number to reach is 17 minutes, not like a range or anything. He's like, we played 17 minutes of intense basketball. It's like, I believe you. I just want to know what the criteria are.
I'm not going to argue with you. You know better than me, but how did you reach that conclusion?
Yeah, I'm interested to
Show
read his
your
notes.
work, Jerome.
What is your source, Jerome? But yeah, this team, they rebounded really well. Not as well in the second half, honestly. Gave up some offensive rebounds. They had 14 offensive rebounds and were kind of rebounding at will. Also, Marquise Noel didn't have a single rebound in this game. It's clear that Jerome Tang is in the school of make the tall guys rebound more often than not, which I kind of like. Aquan Tomlin getting those 8. Gasson gets 6. Gasson is really a souped up Antonio Gordon, I think. I think he is what we wanted Antonio Gordon to be, but more athletic. Which I guess is included in what we wanted Antonio Gordon to be. But he is going to be a guy that we're going to use to get a lot of rebounds and can be an offensive weapon at times as well. But he's living off of being tall and having very long arms. Keontae Johnson is a bulldog and he can bully his way to the bucket, but has a very comfortable looking shot from the outside. I mean, his 3-point shots, like one of them, I remember it was on the near side wing in the first half. It was like a perfect three. Like the way it hit the net, like it didn't touch anything but the net, and it was just perfect. I was like that was satisfying to watch. But I don't know, just I feel like we could really dive in with like almost every player that's on the floor and talk for a while about all the things that we really liked, because there was a lot to like about a lot of the guys that played and just how athletic they are, how fast everybody is, the lobs they were throwing up, and the level of play that we saw was elevated from what we've seen in the past. And I think years of kind of slower paced basketball kind of made me numb to the pain of it. Like I knew it was like annoying and frustrating, but I didn't realize that this is what we could have.
Yeah, you didn't register that a better world existed.
And the grass was greener on the other side, but the thing is that we had a privacy fence and like we couldn't see through it. Like, but this is just a very fun brand of basketball to watch, and it's been painful to wait this whole week to wait for the Cal game because I want to watch this team play basketball every single day. Like they're a lot of fun.
Yeah. Which, speaking of, the men's basketball team takes on Cal in Berkeley on Friday on the Pac-12 network. If you're looking for a place in Manhattan that has it, if your cable doesn't, I know Tanner's does, no free ads, but Tanner's is cool.
I walked past there last weekend.
Oh, yeah. Then next Thursday, it's the first part of the doubleheader with women's basketball. It's playing Kansas City, formerly UMKC. I think it's just KC now. Yep. But yeah, that pretty much wraps up the actual news segment, which of course leads us into everyone's favorite, which is the wacky segment of the week. So, this week's question: if you could have one person completely unrelated to K-State sports come on the show, who would you pick? And by completely unrelated, I mean that they can be like tangentially related, but they can't be a K-State player, a K-State coach, or a K-State podcast or media personality.
Okay. That's a really great question. I'm I've got a few names in mind. The first one is Pat McAfee.
Okay.
The the second one is Barack Obama. And the third one is Tom Hanks.
He's um
I have no rhyme or reason for
any
Tom
of them.
Hanks.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Obama, I mainly just want to like see if he has actual thoughts and opinions on K-State. Cause like one of my lasting like memories of K-State or of like college basketball when I was younger is Obama like doing like his bracket like and stuff like that. And I think he picked K-State to go pretty far one year. I don't remember what it exactly. I think it was the year we like made it to the Elite Eight or something. But that's why I thought of Obama. Just like and Pat McAfee is just like a guy that knows a lot about football, and I think he'd be cool to have on the show and get his thoughts on the team.
Yeah. So this one was actually interesting to me as well because I kind of went two angles with it. Okay, I could either go for what I think would be the most entertaining episode, or I could go with like someone that I think we would learn a lot from. For entertainment factor, I honestly there every name that I come up with just like has I don't know, Travis Kelce. I feel like Travis Kelce would be fun. I feel like Travis Kelce would have no idea what's happening in the Big 12
Well,
unless he was like,
he was at a women's basketball game a few years ago, if you remember.
was he?
Yeah, yeah, he was. Like I remember like somebody like tweeting about it. They're like Travis Kelsey's at a K-State women's basketball game right now, which was really random, but he was. There's a picture of him, I'm pretty sure.
Huh.
Either that or I'm completely making it up and I like dreamt about it or something, which would be
It came to me in a dream. But yeah,
and
Travis Kelce has his own podcast with his brother, Jason. So I feel like I don't know, having a conversation with Travis Kelce just because he is the way he is, I will not be elaborating. I feel like would be very interesting and at least entertaining. But for people that I like would learn from, I'd probably go with Brett Coleman. He's actually probably the reason why I got so into the X's and O's of football. He's an excellent YouTuber, by the way, very high production quality. He also has made it his thing to, have mixed drinks as well. So he provides recipes to mix drinks while he's watching over film. It's quite the gimmick. It's quite interesting. But I'd probably lean towards the okay, that's a why is there a cat on my what? Okay. There
Willie,
there Willie? There's a cat walking on the little fence out there. But
you should retrieve
I maybe after the episode I will.
it.
But yeah, I'll probably take Travis Kelce because I think it'd be interesting. Because I'm not sure he'd unless Patrick Mahomes like sat him down and said, you have to watch the K-State Texas Tech game. I don't think he'd have too much of a connection. Well, unless he's going to a women's basketball game. Maybe he's just a big K-State women's basketball fan.
He's about to know a lot about the Big 12 though, with Cincinnati coming to the Big 12. So
True. True. Could ask him his
not yet,
thoughts on that.
but maybe he's begun doing some preliminary research.
Who is going to be my friend to school in the Big 12? I feel like there might be cat on cat solidarity there.
Yeah, there could be Houston as well as cat on cat solidarity.
Yeah.
And BYU.
Cougar on Cougar solidarity.
So basically, we have mascot solidarity with everybody but UCF.
Pretty much. Can't wait for the Cougar Bowl to be the name. You think Zach Wilson is going to show up to the Cougar Bowl?
There's a 100% chance that he will show up to the Cougar Bowl.
Cougar Nation.
That's right.
All right, but you have anything else?
No, I don't.
All right. Well, if that's the case, thank you for listening to this episode of the Aggieville Alleycats podcast. If you want to contact the show, you can follow us on Twitter at Aggieville Alleycats. That's capital A, and capital C in cats. If you want to email us, we're aggievillealleycats@gmail.com. If you want to follow us on a more personal note, I am at AC Edwards00.
I am at Connor Baltazar, capital C, capital B.
And if you want to support the show financially, please be sure to check out the official Aggieville Alleycats merch store, where you can find such designs as the staff-approved Doomtang Clan, Play Sandstorm Cowards, and Neon Alleycats. But most importantly, thank you all for listening to this episode of the Aggieville Alleycats podcast. Where come rain, shine, or anything in between, we're here to deliver to you the Kansas State sporting news that you so love. Stay safe, Alleycats.